Welcome to Personal Leadership. I began this class a few years back at Columbia Business School because I found something really critical that was missing in conversations about leadership that were happening at schools and organizations and in communities. As a leader, I'm often asking myself, how do I motivate others and inspire others and change others and turn others around at moments of adversity and create a coherent sense of vision for others? But how about turning that lens inward and asking those same questions about our own selves? Do I know how to motivate myself and inspire myself and change myself and turn my own self around at moments of adversity and create a coherent sense of vision for my own self? And isn't it the case that to succeed at that outer game of leadership, of leading others, I first have to learn how to play that inner game of leadership, of leading myself? So a key challenge I faced in bringing this idea into the classroom and bringing it into corporations and communities was, how are we going to judge what's right and what's wrong? How will we establish the fact that in fact your inner life has an important bearing on what happens to you on the outside? My aspiration has been to turn this domain from faith to facts. We live in very fortunate times because in literally the last 5 to 10 years, there has been an explosion of science from multiple different streams, from multiple disciplines, that is casting some very powerful new light on this question about what is our inner life and how does it impact our outer life. I've rooted this course in that new science, from neuroscience, psychology, psychotherapy, behavioral economics, medicine, sociology. For example, neuroscience has been transformed over the last few years with more advanced instrumentation that allows us to study what's happening in our brain at a much more fine-tuned level than ever before. We've all been inspired from time to time in our lives by the stories of people who have had remarkable accomplishments over the course of history. People who have pursued certain lofty goals, who fought against the odds, and who've transformed the course of societies and nations. People like an Abraham Lincoln, a Steve Jobs, an Aung San Suu Kyi. And so through the systematic analysis of their inner life, I hope to impart to us certain very compelling stories and a certain very compelling body of evidence about how the kind of science that we draw from is actually exemplified in their own lives. A second challenge that I faced was how to move this conversation about personal leadership from just ideas and theories to practice, to real practical methods. For example, an executive very early on in this work came up to me and asked me, he said, Professor, it's fine, I want to acquire all these qualities, but how do I do that? How do I become less anxious and less angry and more purposeful in my life? And how do I really change my beliefs and acquire more courage or integrity? And so one of the things we have done here in personal leadership is to extract and compile from our study of the science and the great leaders a real practical toolkit. Something that will allow you to pick anything from this personal leadership world, as a new quality that you want to acquire or strengthen in yourself and wake up on Monday morning and know specifically what you need to do to get there. What is personal leadership? What are the attributes or qualities that make for a life well lived, that make for success from the inside out? And so I'm going to offer to you now a framework through which we can approach this journey in this class. And this framework is what I call the 5 pillars of personal leadership. The first pillar of personal leadership is purpose. Do you have a guiding light that illuminates the path forward in your life? Do you have clarity, in other words, of your goals, your values, and your purpose in life? The second pillar of personal leadership is wisdom. The wisdom pillar is about harnessing your emotions, your thoughts, your beliefs, so that they serve you in the causes and the goals and pursuits that you want to set for yourself in life. The third pillar of personal leadership is self-awareness. It is about fundamentally asking yourself, who am I? And in that answer to that who am I, recognizing that your experience of every moment of your life is partly behavior and sensory, partly thoughts and feelings, but if you want, you can access the space within you, which is a pure consciousness. The fourth pillar of personal leadership is love. The kind of love that I'm talking about is an invitation and an opportunity to expand our sense of self and to see ourselves in others, to see ourselves in causes, to see ourselves in the footprints and the impact that we leave behind on this planet. And so what is the fifth pillar about? Which is really growth. Within each of us is a pure and beautiful form. What it is for you may be different from what it is from me, but ultimately each of us has some vision or hunger or yearning or need to want to see ourselves develop, want to see ourselves change, want to see ourselves get better in some way or the other. I hope that through this journey in personal leadership with me and this community of people that you will be part of and that you will get a chance to interact with, gain support from and insight from, just as much from what we do in the lectures, that you will get an opportunity to make true transformation happen in your life as well.